So I remember a lot about the early days of the BJJ tour. I actually remember before the BJJ tour when we just had the U.S. Open and the Jiu-Jitsu by the Sea. And I remember the Jiu-Jitsu by the Seas, we do them at our old Santa Cruz location. Yeah, I have a lot of memories about the U.S. Open. I think my first ever memory of the U.S. Open was when we had it at the Santa Cruz Civic Auditorium.
Hello everyone, I'm here for talk about the 30 years the US Open, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Everything started in 1995 when I decided to move to the United States from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And first, I moved in January 1995, and after spending a few months in South California, I decided to move to Santa Cruz, to the Bay Area, and make this my house. Worked from different schools, and then I had the opportunity to open my first school in Santa Cruz in 1995. By 1996, I had also the opportunity to open my second school in San Jose. And I was teaching for my students, and enjoy training, and etc. But I was really miss the tournament feeling, the tournament energy, because one of the things make me to train Jiu-Jitsu, and one part of my life, one thing made me keep training Jiu-Jitsu was the tournament. I really enjoy compete, I really enjoy to be part of the tournament as a competitor, and then later as a coach to bring my students for compete. And this energy of the tournament, see your friends, see your students doing well, see your students losing but improve. This real something that I miss from Brazil, because when I live over there, I was involved in tournament as organizer, as a competitor, as a coach, and sometimes even as a referee. Then I started to have the idea to do a tournament here in the United States, and we decided to call the US Open Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Tournament. It was held in Santa Cruz Civic Auditorium in October 1995. This time pretty much all the schools in the United States, it was about 10, 12 schools, come and support our event. We have about 150 competitors, and you start to put a seed for the future, the Jiu-Jitsu in the United States, for the future organization, future competition, and etc. Since that, 1996, we have been doing the US Open annual, and every year you do the US Open in the fall, October, November, and so many good memories, so many good times, and of course problems, difficult sometimes, but in general, memories, great times. In general, it's real happy to have opportunity to be involved in that, to help to develop Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to have my friends here in my hometown in Santa Cruz, and then after in San Jose, and support the tournament.
We had a committee, we had a group of us, and we would meet, and it was usually once a week. We'd meet once a week, starting about, 4 months before the tournament, maybe even further back than that. And we would plan everything and figure out exactly how we were going to, put this on. And we would put together packets for the competitors, and they would include discounts for restaurants and ideas on where to stay. It was well before the internet. There may have been an internet, but we weren't utilizing it. Let's see.
One memory I have from years ago when we were probably about 15 years into the tournaments. I was a really young kid, and I remember the night before the events, my dad and our head mat coordinator, Marcos Vinicius, they would sit on the table and hand write every single bracket. And they would get the list of signups, and they would hand place every single person in there and triple check to make sure that it's all accurate. And seeing that we've gone from literally paper and pencil to this highly computerized system with all these, bells and whistles, it is really amazing to see how these tournaments have evolved, and not only with the technology but with the community. Seeing how jiu-jitsu has come to really spread to so many parts of the country, spread to so many people. More people are coming to understand the beauty of jiu-jitsu and just how valuable it is as a sport. It's really just enriched our tournaments with so much love. And, that's been really valuable to maintaining that family-oriented, family-first position at our tournaments. Being able to, have kids compete during the day and have their moms and dads cheer them on and coach them. And then later in the day, you're seeing the kid then go and coach the mom and the dad. It's just such a full circle moment. And, having been one of those kids where, my dad was coaching me from the sidelines, it's been really amazing to not only see that experience firsthand, but see a lot of those kids grow up. So many people have seen me grow up throughout the tournaments, and I've seen so many people grow up throughout the tournaments, and it's really been an experience like no other. And growing up, it always felt like the norm. My parents always had this tournament business, but now being able to be involved with the tournament business, it's made me realize just how blessed I was to ever have the opportunity to be involved in something like this and to be able to work for such an amazing company.
Garth Taylor, Santa Cruz, California. Got my black belt from Claudio França, 2000. I run my own gym, Garth Taylor Jiu-Jitsu, here on the west side of Santa Cruz. And I was with Claudio for a long time. I'm still a student, so that would have been 1994. Claudio came in 95, so yeah, I've been a student ever since. Got my black belt in 2000. So now 25 years of the black belt. And I've been running my own gym since 2008. So it was kind of wild. So you never knew, at least in those formative years, you never knew what was coming. So we just kind of had to wait, see, what kind of numbers would come in. You'd always get the big Ralph Gracie, the big Caesar Gracie rosters that would come in. Charles too. But you never really knew until the day before the tournament how many matches you were going to have or what kind of tournament it was going to be. So it was a lot different back then. It was really kind of Wild West. Jiu-jitsu's changed so much. It's just it's evolved so much from what it used to be. There's a lot of charm in those old days, a lot of fun, but it's nice to see what jiu-jitsu's happened, what's happened with jiu-jitsu and it becoming like a real sport. Back then there was no rule book, so the rules were like loosely agreed upon. Everybody knew them, but there wasn't a rule book that I ever saw anyways. Apparently there might have been one in Portuguese, but I couldn't read it. But you'd have a rule seminar before the tournament to kind of discuss what was legal in this tournament and how we were going to do it. So it's kind of always the way the tournaments went back there. like,
Tell me about some
90s.
of your opponents in the early days.
My opponents?
Yeah, some of the guys that you remember fighting. Or...
Man, I had a great rivalry with Kurt Osiander.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
It was fun. We fought 3 times in the U.S. Open and always in the finals.
Okay.
So it was always in the finals. Me and him would fight. I was fortunate. I got to win all those, but they were always good fights. And it was always the rivalry of like the Half and Claudio, thing, because we were kind of the bigger schools in the in Northern California at the time. And like the Half Gracie school was a gnarly school. I mean, you see all the talent that came out of it. It was crazy. The Camarillos, Penn, Cameron Earl. I mean, just so much. Kurt, so much talent. And we had our studs too. So it was a lot of fun. But I think out of like my opponents, like for me, I just always remember Kurt because it was always a big deal. Like I was kind of the student leader of my squad, and he was kind of the student leader of his squad. So it always came down. It was always a big deal. It was fun, and I was fortunate get past him a few times. So, but they were big moments. And I always had my crowd. I grew up here, so I always had my crowd. It was a pretty legendary crowd. Sometimes they'd be a little too drunk for the jiu-jitsu tournament, but like I said, it was a Wild West back then. It was just different. It was different. So, but it was a lot of fun. But we used to have to do the tournament. So for the first few years, we didn't have mats, right? So it wasn't like you didn't have a mat company to go to buy anything from or to rent from. So we'd use wrestling mats. And so I had just finished coaching wrestling. So I think my last year coaching wrestling was 94. So I'd finished coaching wrestling, so I still had all the hookups to get wrestling mats. So I'd be driving, the big mat truck all around on Friday, and then we'd set it up and run the sucker on Saturday, So, yeah. So I'd be driving all over the county trying to collect wrestling mats. Yeah. So it was fun.
And, I remember one of the things I always thought was super cool was watching the black belts compete. I remember the early days of the U.S. Open, there would just be a big crowd for the black belts that were, more popular, knew a lot of people in the area, and they'd always just amass this huge crowd. And if there was like a tap out or some crazy maneuver or anything like that, then I just remember seeing the crowd go wild, and that was always pretty cool for me to see as a kid. Just imagining myself like that. As a kid, like, that's going to be me in 20 years. Didn't pan out like that, but that's okay. But yeah, that's pretty much my earlier memories of the BJJ tour as a whole. I remember we started.
That Nick Diaz, I know he's very popular, and I think he's an MMA fighter, yep. Right? Yeah. Yep. And I think he has a brother too, right? Huh?
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah. But I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Nick. He was fighting at one of our U.S. Opens. And I remember his mother. She did not want to be watching from the stands because she felt that he would be too nervous, and she was also nervous. So she came out into the lobby, and at the Civic Auditorium they have those really cool doors with the kind of portholes, and she just watched through the porthole. And I thought that was really cute. We've had a lot of different people, like Joel Tudor. He's a famous longboard surfer. That was a lot of fun to have him there.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Marcos Vinicius from Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu Club. And this year we're celebrating 30 years of U.S. Open of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 30 years of this amazing tournament. And my buddy Claudio França from Santa Cruz, they put it together. So I've been working with him. Then I've been in the U.S. Open since the number one. Then actually, the whole history about it starts way before the U.S. Open in Brazil, when me and Claudio, he went to visit Joe Moreira. Joe Moreira was running the Atlantic South Cup. Then he was doing everything by himself. Then me and Claudio would look at, say, look, we need to help this guy. So we both went to the physical education university, and then me and Claudio have been training together since a blue belt. We get all our belts at the same time up to coral belt. So you went to help Joe, and since that he did it America Cup, Atlântico Sul Cup for 9 years in a row. And then Joe moved to the U.S., and then Claudio, and then myself. Okay, so when he moved here, we realized we needed jiu-jitsu tournaments here. So we didn't have a good jiu-jitsu tournaments. Then Claudio, with all the knowledge that we just got in Brazil by organizing events in Brazil, start organize events in the U.S., even helping the IBJJF Federation with more understanding how to run a tournament in the U.S., that Claudio and Joe Moreira had a lot more experience in tournaments here. So I saw the tournaments coming from wrestling mats to the best zebra mats. I saw the tournaments from manual scoreboards, now with the digital scoreboards and the brackets online, and signing up online with the 360 tournaments knowledge and the 360 tournaments technology to make it the best tournament as possible. So a lot of things changed, great fights, great challenges, and this the most prestigious tournament in the U.S. You know, the 30th U.S. Open BJJ tournament coming up soon in Santa Cruz, and don't miss the opportunity to compete at this tournament, one of the best, probably the best in the U.S. Okay, so congratulations, Claudio França. Congratulations, BJJ Tour, 360 tournaments, and all of you guys involved. Master Álvaro Mansur, who's been the head of the referees for many years, and then all you guys involved. I've been director myself, helping to run the tournament to make it the best as we can. And then now we're celebrating 30 years. It's amazing. Okay, congratulations to all. And don't miss a chance to compete in the 30th U.S. Open BJJ tournament. I'll see you there.
Hello everyone, Professor Rodrigo Medeiros here, straight from San Diego, California. I want to congratulate my big friend, Master Claudio França, and everybody involved at this 30 years anniversary of US Open. So I have a long history of US Open. You know, I had the honor to be participating, competing, and coaching on the second US Open in 1996. It's the year that I moved to the United States. And, you know, I did the first 3 editions of the US Open, 96, 97, 98, and 99, actually 4 editions. And great times. You guys see these 3 medals here. You know, was one of the super fights I did there, you know, some competition I did there, you know, I was competing. You know, I fought great names there, as like Master Carlos Machado, Professor Kleber Luciano, Master Valdomiro Jr. I fought a challenge there, you know, we were on the competition there, a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, you know, big guy, probably 250 pounds, came and challenged, you know, any black belt there. And I stepped in, you know, and I fought a guy, I'm Nakimura, you know, represent Jiu-Jitsu. So it's great times, you know, we had some, it's a bit of trophy here on the years there that, you know, my team, you know, made a podium. 2 plates that Professor Claudio França, you know, represent to us. So congratulations, you know, it's an honor for me to be part of, and I wish you guys another 30 years, you know, of success. Okay? Thank you very much. Master, miss you.
30 years of US Open. Wow, Claudio França, congratulations. I think you're the first generation of Jiu-Jitsu that came to America. And I remember driving all the way to Santa Cruz and see that event, and amazing. 30 years later, you're still going, still strong, and definitely a part of the Jiu-Jitsu in America, and consequently to help spread out this amazing art of Jiu-Jitsu. Congratulations. I was in many of those US Opens. I was there for a lot of my students, and was always a great tournament. Well done, great people, and congratulations, man. 30 years later, still going strong as was the first time.
I think the future is bright for the US Open and for the BJJ Tour. I think that we have an amazing team. I think that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has a great future. I think it's becoming more and more popular with kids and with adults, and I feel like it's only going to grow.
Also a great memory I have for the tournament was with my kids, Tyler and Mariana. They both went all the tournaments since they born. Tyler born in 2002 and Mariana born in 2005. And of course, the beginnings they go over there with a babysit for watch them during the tournament. They go over there for annoying. Sometimes they they make a lot of noise over there, etc. Like any kids. But after the year, they start to help me in the tournament, and they start helping me in all the positions, like front door check-in, score points, bracket coordination, etc. And these days, both guys, it's a very important part of the team, the organization, the tournament. Mariana more in the relation with the customer relation, with the public, and Tyler more in the technical part, the tournament. And definitely something that you're gonna add in the future, this new blood, this new kids learn. My generation don't have expert, and they definitely help us, and they will gonna keep helping us to make the US Open better and better, and make the US Open for forever.